KRQE local election headquarters results are pouring in this hour.
So far, Democratic State Auditor Tim Keller has had a good night. He has now an even more commanding lead than the polls had suggested leading up to Election Day at 41%. As you see there, he's heading off for a runoff now next month against Republican City Councilor Dan Lewis, who is in second place, you see, at about 21%. And Lewis is holding a 4.5-point lead over former state Democratic Party Chair Brian Colon. Earlier was trailing by about 5 or 6 points, so that is tightening up a bit. There are still more than 40,000 votes out there. We should caution you. So that's that's about a third of the total turnout still waiting to be counted this evening.
And Tim Keller right now speaking. He's at the Red Door Tap Room at 4th and Gold. Let's go to take him live.
If you can't tell by looking around or what you saw at the polls today or the phone calls you received or the door knocks at your house, we had a small army helping us. And I want to start out by thanking every single volunteer who helped make this happen. We had a block-by-block campaign and it showed today. Thank you. And a few folks I want to thank especially. I have some very important people with me here on stage. There are way too many people to thank, and first and foremost, my 2- and 4-year-old are long in bed, but my wife is here with me, Elizabeth Kiston. And I'm so lucky also my mom and dad are here as well. And my in-laws also, brother-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, the Kiston family. I also want to mention, of course, the folks who helped. You know, when we started this back in February, we said we were going to do things different. We were going to go block by block, and we were going to do it the old-fashioned way. And there were folks behind the scenes who helped put that together. And I want to just, if they could wave here, if they're here tonight, starting with Jesse and Alan from Rio. I don't know where they're here from Rio Strategies. Thank you so much. Everyone at Rio Strategies, I see Danica here, give us a wave. And there are 3 of the most popular people here tonight. Brittany, who's right up front, our field organizer. And Sochi, who's also here. Give us a wave, Sochi. Thank you.
And of course, that is State Auditor Tim Keller speaking tonight, overwhelmingly ahead in the mayor's race. Now, Dan Lewis might not be in the lead, but that won't matter tonight if no candidate can snag more than 50% of the vote. It's looking more and more like Lewis and Keller will go head-to-head. News 13's Madeline Schmidt is live at Lewis's watch party at Flex Brew House on the west side. Madeline?
Yeah, well, Jessica, the prospects of a runoff between the two are highly likely at this point. And although it's not a win tonight, people here are hopeful that it will be a win next month. The biggest question is, will Brian Colon knock Lewis out of his second place spot? The gap between the two is close, just a few points. Then again, not even half of the voting centers are reporting at this point. Lewis has been holding a rather steady 22% of the vote all night. Now, as for the other Republicans who have all but lost a shot at winning or even getting into the runoff, Lewis says if he goes to the runoff, he will wait for those candidates to call him before trying to garner the votes they got. But he's still confident he can beat out Keller before tonight is over.
It really is right now is a trend, I think, but you know, we'll wait and we'll watch the rest of the results as they come in. But I'll tell you, I'm just very grateful for everybody that's voted, you know, so far.
Now, people here at Flex Brew House have been nothing but positive all night, enjoying drinks as they cheer on Lewis. He's yet to make any speeches tonight. He's still greeting supporters who came out tonight one by one. And when it comes to preparing for that potential runoff, he says he'll think about that tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Madeline. That was Madeline Schmidt at the Dan Lewis campaign tonight.